Let's just see if I am live and recording. Yes, we are live. Welcome and good morning or good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and welcome to a Monday doodle. It's Monday as morning here in Copenhagen. It's very foggy outside, which fits to the day because today it's officially October 31st, Halloween. I hope that you're enjoying Halloween, or that you have enjoyed it if you already celebrated it. Today's video will be about me starting to illustrate the children's book that I have now very close to finish writing it. And I must say, I haven't realized until now how difficult it is to write a children's book. It's so difficult. Condensing a story, a theme and characters and a plot into a book in as few sentences as possible, and not overdoing it in terms of words has really been a process. And I've had help from a person I know who's very good with words, so I really appreciate that. Without her, I would have struggled way more with writing this book. I've printed it out, and as you can see, it's not A4, and this has to do with the format that I will be hopefully publishing this book in, which I'll talk to you about later, the format, because I want to share with you the methods that I use when embarking on a project like this. So I'll be sharing the work method about how I get started, which includes thumbnails. I have made some thumbnails that I'll share with you. For the illustrations, I'll talk about the composition, which also has to do with the format. I'll talk about the inspiration, and then I will start the first illustration for the book, because I am making a mock-up of the book. And why I'm making a mock-up of the book, I'll share with you later in this video. The first thing that I want to share with you is that I have finally settled upon a design of the main character, who's called Alfred. The book is called Can Alfred Come Play, in English. And yeah, I'll share the character design in a minute. I just first want to have a sip of the black bean. Cheers out there. I am looking at a guy who's hanging up his laundry on a balcony. He has earpods in his ears, and it's very foggy. 200 meters away, there's just like complete gray because of the fog. Anyway, let's go on to the character design. I just have to spread out my drawings here because there are quite a lot of drawings, and I also want to have them out in the right chronological order, so you can really see the process. Let's just see. Oh, there are too many actually. Okay. There we go. And there, and there. Okay. I'm going to flip the camera. So the very first drawings I did of Alfred was these ones, where I used watercolor pencils. And you can tell here I've played around with some long ears. I'm not entirely sure what kind of breed this would be of dog, but I was also very keen on from the beginning not to make him look like exactly like a distinct kind of breed. He was allowed to be a mix, but the long ears were crucial for me to have because I think they had a lot of character. And this one you might recognize from a Monday doodle where I started sketching him out in various positions. And you can see the long ears remain, large feet, and then he has these overalls. Moving on in the process, you can see I started to give him these pants on, and this has to do with the storyline because Alfred likes his karate pants. He wears them after when he comes home from school. This is like his clothes that he likes to wear when he wants to relax. Also, I played around with having some spots around the eye, which although I chose to not to bring those on in the design here. Here you can see I play around with the head shape here. I like the design, but this could be for another book maybe. This is him in profile, where I really like this one. His overall mood and the character. And also here you can see he gets a hat, because apart from the karate pants, he also likes to wear this like cowboy hat. Moving on, we see some more designs here where I try to put him in various positions where he's playing. I believe we also have some on the back here, if I'm not mistaken. Playing around with the front cover. Then down here, this is the mother. And this is him again. And then we get close to the final design over here. Very little subtle changes in terms of proportions from here to here, but there are some things happening. And then the final design was here. So as you can tell, the feet became a little more, how to say it, choppy. I chose to make his ears a bit shorter because otherwise they were kind of interfering with his arms, and I need to use his arms in the story. So that's that. The eyes became a bit bigger, and then his forehead became almost like this straight line instead of you know, going down a curve. It becomes more straight. So I think that helped getting more simple design. But you never know if I will change it during the process. We'll see. So this is till now the final design. I thought it would be fun for you guys to see how much work that goes into creating and thinking about a character before I start illustrating him. And it's always a good way to learn your character, to get to know him. So yeah, that was that. We'll just collect these drawings and focus on the final design. So, as you know, I have also been writing the story, and I have it here. I've printed it out, and then I've actually cut it out in segments, in pages, to be able to get an overview of the story, get an overview of the things I want to illustrate. And my idea is to cut these up in further sections and then put them into a little mock-up book, so that I can start to merge illustration and text. And that's the strength about writing and illustrating your own text, that you can choose to merge the text and the illustrations from the beginning and play around with the composition. Let's talk a bit about inspiration and format. I went into our children's book library, which we have, of course, and then I found a format of a book that I really like, and which I've decided that Can Alfred Come play will be the same format. And it's this book here. Many of you probably know. Baba. A very beautiful book. Jean de Brunov. Actually, I'm not so familiar with this guy, but his illustrations are just marvelous. Very simple in terms of color and in terms of the line work, and sometimes it's just, you know, white space around the characters, which I am inspired of, and also the way he uses texture on, for instance, the elephants. You can see it here. Just a bit of texture and then solid colors. So I might be able to also be inspired by this style. But the format was what I was really like, because it's not A5. A5 can become a bit too much like a school class booklet. So this is just a bit smaller in height than A5, which I really like. So this will be one of the inspirations. And then I also found this one, which is called Alfons Åberg in Danish. I don't know how many out there are familiar with this character here, but he's very famous. I believe it's Gunilla Bergström. I think she's a Swedish writer and illustrator. And what I like about this one is also, again, the simplicity of the illustrations. Very simple, strong compositions. So this will also be an inspiration. Also in terms of text, as you can see, I have quite some chunks of text here. And here you can see how much text there is also here, and how much there's also a space here for the eyes to kind of have some quietness. So this is also an inspiration for me. You can have a lot of text, and you can also have illustrations, all in all. These will be my two companions during my process, which will lay right here beside me. So even though the text is not completely finished, I will do some alterations during the process. I can start now to do some illustrations and see how text and image work together. And this might give me a hint of what I should cut off of the text, or what I might not choose to illustrate. So this is why I will do a mock-up book. The other reason that I will make a mock-up book is that I will try to test read the book for some kids. My sister has agreed to test read it for her children, and I know some other. I know that my wife's sister has kids too, in that age that I target the book for. So they will also have a test read. And the great thing about reading it aloud to children as a test is that you get an immediate, honest reaction. That's why kids are the best test audience, because if the kid doesn't like the book, if it's boring, they can just shut it up, like the illustrator Maurice Sendak has said in a video on YouTube. While adults will have a tendency to read them, and because they feel like they have to, out of respect or something. But a kid, they're just like honest. They get an immediate reaction, which is great. So I'm very excited to see if it will fall through the book, or if it will be a hit. We'll see. So I will begin now to do the illustration for the first segment here. I will cut this segment out here now, and I will read it aloud to you, so you also know the context. Flip the screen here. So there we are. This is the very first scene of the book, and imagine that we had the book here. Let's just imagine that this was the book. We have the front page. Sorry about this. We have the front page, and we flip. And this would be then the first segment of the book. Actually, apart from this up here. So here it says on the first page, Alfred comes home from school. He puts his school bag in the hallway and goes into his room. He says, when he puts on his favorite clothes. Now he's ready to play, and some of the best that Alfred knows is playing alone. So we are told a couple of things here. We are told, one, we have a person called Alfred. 2, he comes home from school. 3, he puts on some clothes. And 4, he likes to play alone. I will try to communicate that now by illustrating that on the page here. And if I had a glue stick here, I might just glue this text on here. I'll do that later on, but I can also just show you how you can. I can now choose where I should put the text here in my mock-up book. Maybe it should start over here on this page, so you flip it and then you have Alfred comes home from school. A fun idea could be that his school bag is just lying here where he left it, and then he goes down here and puts on his favorite clothes. I think I'll try and do that. Alright, so first, one sip of coffee. It is Monday after all. So up here, I want to have a school bag. Let's just say that he kind of threw it right there on the floor. Maybe there's a bottle in the side here. Because he's a kid, he has this kid-friendly thing to drink of. There's maybe a logo here. So school back here. And then maybe also his clothes, because we're told that he puts on new clothes. So there should be also some clothes lying over here. Maybe just the pants, because I know that he likes to put on his karate pants. So down here, I want to have him put on his pants. And this is why I know that the text should be smaller, because then I have more room to draw him here. Question is, how should he put on his pants? Like so. Looking down. Nose. Looking down. Happy. And ear. Just gotta make sure that this doesn't break. Might have this tail here wiggling. Not sure yet. And oh my goodness. Sorry about that. I have some work here to do with the hands. And how they kind of drag up the legs here. So the hat could be, his hat could be here, I think. And I think also I should have a note here saying to himself that in his room, he puts on his favorite clothes in his room. Puts it out. Because then I could have his room being in here. Where his favorite clothes are. So the hat would be here. I will go into depth with what the book is about in another Monday Doodle, so you can get more context. But this is kind of his favorite cowboy hat. Okay, let's just put on some lines here just to make it more clarified. his tail, I can use that to kind of express what kind of mood he is, and I can reveal that later on in the children's book. Alfred is gonna deal with some challenges, and there I can play around with how the tail reacts. Also, his ears is a way for me to act with him, so to speak. So it's not just that they give him a lot of character, the ears and the tail, is also that I can simply use them as a tool. Cowboy hat here. And it goes up here. Bit difficult to see the shape of the hat, but the whole style thing, the whole technique is not settled upon yet at all. I'll just wanna make some final, just some coloring. So, for instance, his back could be. I think I need a bit of color in here to keep the interest for the drawings as they are being read aloud to kids, and kids love colors. So just to help the story along, I want to add some colors, just slightly. T-shirt. What color should Alfred be? I don't know. I have a feeling he could be yellow. He could be yellow. And maybe he could be lemon yellow. I've had the challenge of creating Alfred as a dog character, because there are quite many dog characters already in both animation and cartoons and so on. So yeah, Snoopy being one of them. There's a dog in Family Guy. I'm thinking about Pluto right now as I'm giving him the color yellow, but Pluto is more orangey, so it has been kind of difficult to draw this dog as a dog that already existed. Could use this for shades also. Maybe the chair also is yellow. Yeah. The shirt could be blue. Inspired by Papa and also Elfens Ober. I could add some symbol elements here that tells us about the environment. Perhaps there's a bed here. There's a bed later on in the story, so it could be helpful for me to incorporate that now. So there's a cue for the reader. So there we have it. A start. Not what it's going to look like in the end, I'm sure, but this is just starting the project, which is sometimes also the hardest part, and it feels good to have a start and yeah, to have this as a companion as I move on in the process and have this. So I forgot to show the thumbnails. I will just do this before finishing this Monday doodle here. Starting from up here. down here, up here. And I'm the only person right now who can see the logic of these thumbnails, but it will all make sense once these get scaled up and text is added. Yeah, but thumbnails a great way to compose your images and get a feeling from beginning if it works or not. And you're just warming up before you go into a larger scale. Good morning, Crafts with Violet. I'm actually about to end this Monday Doodle here, but thank you so much for tuning in. You can watch it from the beginning. Thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to share the rest of the process of creating this children's book here. I'm very proud that I actually got down to write this book at all, because this was one of my goals when I create some plans this summer. I wanted to write this book in the fall and also illustrate it. So it's winter soon. Hopefully I'll be able to illustrate it in November. That could be really awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping for that. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you here soon. Thanks, Violet. See you, bye. Have a good Monday.